Hello, I'm Dohren, and today I'm going to read and review my poem, The First Half of a World Cup Qualifier. The first half of a World Cup qualifier. I was staying in a lovely hotel down Malvern way. England were on the telly in a World Cup qualifier. By the time they'd done the national anthems, laid a wreath, played the last post, swapped penants, taken the knee, and paid further tributes to the dead, my mind had wandered. England had reverted to a 3-4-3, but I was considering the decor. I gawped at a triptych of Malvern Priory that hung on the wall. A cloud over the scene looked like one of those nuclear bomb mushrooms, or perhaps it was the smoke-plume jizz of an ejaculating rocket, and I was immediately reminded of billionaires in space. All well and good, but most of us would be eternally grateful if they just paid their fucking taxes. Harry Maguire scored and cupped his ears and knee-slid away all of the jeers. I didn't know why a fellow guest called Fran had bored me with talk of antiques. She'd be flogging off a lovely piece of Clarice Cliff that her Frankie bought in Donetsk. Harry Kane nodded in a second from a Jordan Henderson cross that was Trent Alexander-Arnold-esque. But I had the sound turned off. I was gorging on the hotel Wi-Fi, experimenting with Gregorian chants on Spotify, when Henderson made it 3. I told Fran I was a famous poet, and she said she'd Google me. Now, Barber's Adagio for strings. Raheem Sterling, Declan Rice, Tyrone Mings. I'd never understood before why people plan their own funerals. Kane made it 4, then he made it 5, a hat-trick before half-time. There's a perfect synergy between sitting in a lovely hotel room and watching the England football team on the telly. Everything looks promising. There's an air of expectancy, but ultimate disappointment is in the post. England were 5-0 up at half-time. Malvern's a lovely town. I'd recommend a visit to anyone. But there were no goals in the second half. It rained the next day, and I ate too much food. But the expectancy was great for a while. All life and death was there. It was the second week of November. The pre-match rituals centred around remembrance of those who'd given their lives for the greater good. The lives of former players recently deceased was celebrated. The Black Lives Matter movement was acknowledged. Then a game of football broke out, much like that one in the trenches of World War I. At Malvern Priory, the minister told me a story of how the locals of the town averted the destruction of their house of worship in 1541 by purchasing it for £20. Probably an astronomical sum in those days. I discovered that today's locals make nice cake and biscuits. At the end of it all, England sat on top of their qualifying group, though we all suspect it's going to end in tears, don't we? So, there you have it, the first half of a World Cup qualifier. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in and listening. There is a copy of the poem in the description box below. Please like and subscribe, and stick around. I'll see you next time for more of my poetry.